Morning. Got some tea over here. Thought I would make us a cup of tea and we'd have a little chat. It's morning and I've got light from over here. It's unusual for me to be filming this time of day. So I decided I would turn my setup around, and the disadvantage of that is you can see all the junk behind me. This is a back room. I like it for the atmosphere, that it's crumbling plaster and faded peeling wallpaper. It's really delightful. It's also where I keep my office. So welcome. Hello. And let me get my tea. So these are my filters today. I've got my specialty tin that I use for lapsang souchong. Smell it. This is my blue main cup today. You mean? I'll let that steep for a sec. Be right back. So, I recorded like 15 minutes of rambling about stuff and decided that I didn't want to do that. So my tea is actually halfway drunk, halfway drinking, halfway drank. And the light's totally changed because it's been a while since I actually made the tea, but that's okay. So what I was going to do is give a brief rundown of what spatiotemporal continuity is. That came up in conversation a few weeks ago, and I said I would make a video about it. So, trying to decide if it's relevant. I used to be a scientist many years ago, for a long time. And then after that I did some other things. And then after that I got a degree in geographic information systems, basically, spatial information. And both of those fields have an assumption about, but not a... Both of those fields have some connection to the concept of spatiotemporal continuity, and it's something that I think most people know and understand without knowing that they know it. It's an implicit knowledge that most people have, and that's that things that are close together in space tend to be related. For instance, it is sunny here right now. It's sunny right outside right now. It's sunny down at the end of the street. The closer you are to where I am, the more likely it is that it will be sunny for you. And the farther away it is from where I am, the less likely it will be sunny. It's the same thing with time. That's the temporal component. That things that are close together in space tend to be related. This is why we get correlation effects, why people have... it's amazing how many words evade me. Why we have the mistaken cause-effect chain, because we assume that things that are close together in time are related. So, but it's not just about mistaken assumptions. We assume it because it's often true. It's sunny right now. It's probably going to be sunny in 2 minutes, and it will probably be sunny 5 minutes from now. But the farther away you get from where I am right now, in time, the less likely it is to be sunny. And it's the same in the backward direction, too. So it's sunny right now. It was probably sunny a few minutes ago. You know for a fact, actually, that it was sunny about a half an hour ago when I started recording this. So things that are close in space and close in time tend to be related to each other. And that has to do with the fabric of our universe, basically, right? We have a continuous sense of space, even if it's possible that space isn't continuous. I say that because, wormholes and all that stuff, those are holes in the fabric, but we don't really experience those. We don't know if they're really for real or not, on a micro level, on a level that we can sense them. And same thing with time. Time is not only continuous in our perception, but it's one directional. So, yeah. So because of that, when you're close to something, it tends to be related. When you're far away from something, it tends to be less related. That's all that spatiotemporal continuity is. And the reason I think that it came up in conversation is that we were talking about when does a thing stop being a thing? Particularly what comes up is a human being. Our cells, we're composed of living cells. So the fact that we are a composition of living things is already complex, right? In terms of our existence, our perception of our own existence. Our cells don't appear to perceive themselves as separate from us. We don't have a million entities that are synthesized in our head. At least that's not our perception of it. That might be what happens, but that's not our perception of it. Our perception is that we are one being, that this is our unified consciousness. And not only that, but our cells grow and reproduce and die in our bodies over the course of our lives, and yet we perceive ourselves as continuous, as a continuous existence. And which is also very interesting. Although you can make some arguments about how we change psychologically as we age, and there's a lot of research about that, obviously, stages of childhood development, and then recognition of identity and assumption of responsibility, and what it means to be an adult, and then middle-aged, and then senescence. All of these things change our behaviors. Our psychology is different. Our perception of the world changes as we have more experience in our lives. But what it comes down to, basically, is that our collection of cells is spatially related. We're a continuous, we continue through space and time as a single unit, even if the cells within our body change. Even if all of the cells in our body have changed over time, we still continue. We still remain as this entity. Which is, like I said, I don't think that's going to be particularly mind-blowing. It's implicit knowledge for most people. But it's interesting to think about. And it's interesting to think about, for me, one of the things that got me, I guess, was that we tend to think of space as being, we're separate objects in space, that I'm separated from my environment. I'm my own object, contained. This is a teacup, right? It has tea in it. Part of that, I think, is because of the permeability of the atmosphere. It's invisible. The air around us is invisible, even though it exists. So we tend to think of each of these things as discrete and not blurring into each other. But when you really think about it, our skin to us seems as though it is, it's a boundary, right? It's a liminus between us and the thing that makes me, and the thing that makes the atmosphere. But when you think about something like humidity, when you think about water, right? I sweat off my skin. So at what point does the water that was in my body, as it evaporates into the air, at what point is it no longer part of my body? And likewise with the atmosphere, humidity, for instance, other things have the same impact, but let's think about humidity, just water in the atmosphere. When it lands on my skin and adheres to my skin, at what point does it become part of me? So there is some blurring there on a micro level between the boundaries of this object and the boundaries of the air object, the atmosphere object. And geez, Cheetos, right? You get Cheeto dust on your fingers. You start absorbing that Cheeto in through your skin, right? That happens. Now you're going to think I'm crazy, but I bet you do absorb some Cheeto through your fingers. Things like that. You absorb things through your skin. It's not completely impermeable. Never did, well, yeah. I'm getting far afield when I do that. I'm gonna cut half this out. I gotta go to a meeting. So, I'll catch up with you later. So that's it. Spatiotemporal continuity in a nutshell. Something to think about. Or not.